Mike Kafka is staying put, guys. That's the report here. Mike Kafka is staying put. So we talked about it there a couple weeks ago. He had obviously a last interview with the New Orleans Saints that supposedly lasted 9 hours. 9 hours. Um,
That's crazy.
yeah, it's insanity. But we've heard the rumors. We said it here on the show here that we think that he's going to be staying put because supposedly the front runner was Kellen Moore. Obviously, Kellen Moore was the offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles. They could not hire more because the Eagles were still playing, obviously, as they won the Super Bowl on Sunday. And it looks like that's what the rumors are right. They officially hired Kellen Moore to be their head coach. So that means Mike Kafka is staying because there is no other position available for him to go to be a head coach at this point. That was the last spot to be filled. But yeah, that's I'm still a little shocked that Mike Kafka even made it to that final round like that. But I also feel bad in the whole scenario because like the Saints couldn't sit there and tell Mike Kafka he was out because they couldn't officially hire Kellen Moore. So if they hadn't finished contracts, negotiations, all that stuff, they couldn't end the search hypothetically. So you kind of leave a guy hanging for a couple weeks because of the way the NFL rules are written. And to me, I feel like, it's just, oof. I feel like you got to go ahead and look at the potential for changing the rules because it's not fair. It's also not fair that the guy who is going into the Super Bowl, like a Kellen Moore, and I can't believe I'm going to stick up for an Eagle here. As Dakota, I see you talking trash in the comments. That's my thoughts on you right now.
Yeah.
But you look at what's going on, and Kellen Moore's now just hired. He couldn't hire offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, position coaches, all these positions that most teams have filled. Most teams have filled. That's the problem. So now Kellen Moore is basically stuck getting whoever the hell is left over, basically. And it's an extreme disadvantage to somebody who's going in for the very first time as an NFL head coach and is now going to have trouble filling his position with quality people. Because let's say hypothetically, Rob, that you were, let's say, a quarterbacks coach somewhere and you're being very successful and you got a couple people looking at you as an offensive coordinator. If Kellen Moore called you up, and then let's say hypothetically Pete Carroll called you up, just using random names. Pete Carroll obviously was hired to be the Raiders coach there, so it's I'll use that as an example. If they both say, "Hey, I want you to be the offensive coordinator," but Pete Carroll, because he's already been hired, can actually physically hand you a contract, and Kellen Moore is going to do a wink, wink, nudge, nudge, and handshake. Where are you going?
It's a very tricky situation because obviously, there's multiple things. One hand, you have Pete Carroll, Stinky Pete. Guy's been to the Super Bowl quite a few times.
Yep.
Guy's been a fantastic coach in this league for a long time. Very active, respects a lot of from his players. The players respect him a lot as well. And he gets things done. He has a track record. You know that. And he's talking to you weeks before, someone like Exhibit B, who just won a Super Bowl in this position. Granted, he's newer to the role as an offensive coordinator, and he's going to go now be a general manager somewhere. A head coach somewhere else. Do you take the job with the guy with the track record, or do you take the guy that just won the Super Bowl? Like, what's more flashy?
Yeah, well, I get it, but you got to take a guarantee.
Well, I was going to get there.
Here's the other part of this whole scenario too, though. Like, let's say, for example, if you were a quarterbacks coach for the Eagles, for the Chiefs, whoever, and you wanted to become an offensive coordinator somewhere. Well, all those positions have been filled now. So it's I feel like the NFL needs to recognize this problem and he needs to fix this problem. And it needs to be that you can't hire staff until after the Super Bowl. But it needs to be like a week after the Super Bowl, not even like the day after, because that's not fair to like a guy like Kellen Moore who just got in. Like, give him a chance to recruit people now that he can.
Yeah.
There's an issue with that But in a couple weeks we got the NFL free agency starts and everything like that, and that's the problem too. Is now you're setting people that have new coaching staffs behind the 8 ball because they couldn't get the staff and everything formed ahead of time. But at the same point, you can't have people with a leap. But you also can't set teams behind because these are the teams that are getting a new coach are typically ones, let's be frank, aren't doing well. They need help. They need a good offseason. Like I said, there's no perfect solution to this scenario. There really isn't. But like I said, I just feel bad for guys in that scenario that get hired. I really do. But, I am glad, though, that we're getting Mike Kafka back. I mean, nobody else is going to want the job, let's be honest.
Yeah, I was about to say, there's
I don't
definitely...
think Kafka wants the job.
Obviously, he doesn't. He's been interviewing elsewhere for years.
Well, it's different when you're going for a head coaching job. I mean, that's different. But, I mean, we talked about it last year. He tried to get the OC job over in Seattle. They wanted to interview him, and he was trying to do it. So, yeah, like I said, it's just the whole situation is just crazy there. And like I said, I feel bad he was left hanging like that. I think he had to have probably known he was definitely going to be the silver medal, if not bronze medal, if he was to ever be offered the job. But still, in your head, you're thinking there's a chance. So you're saying there's a chance. But instead, he comes back to the Giants. Hopefully, what's going to happen is now he can go ahead and be the actual play caller, which is going to potentially help him because if he becomes the play caller, the offense runs a lot better. That's going to make him look a lot better. And Daboll can go back to being the head coach where he needs to be because he needs to get his damn hands out the cookie jar with his playbook. Because there's been a lot of issues the last, year and a half, 2 years with the play calling with this since he took it over.
And it's hard to tell his hands in the cookie jar because he lost all that weight, but it's definitely far down in that cookie jar.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I guess that's the one hope we got to have with the staff this year because we all know that most of us want Joe Schoen gone, want Brian Daboll gone, and we're kind of stuck with him now, at least for one more year. But at least that might be a positive, that if Daboll takes a step back, let's Mike Kafka go ahead and call the offense, which, let's be frank, looked like an average offense back in 22 with a crap quarterback, crap receivers, crap line. They did have Saquon, but crap otherwise. And now you get a chance to see Kafka go. And what the biggest thing I'm curious about is what happens with Daniel Bellinger with Kafka being back as the play caller, if that was to happen, because he had a much bigger role his rookie year than he had year 2 and 3.
100%. I wonder how it's going to look like with him and Theo there.
Yeah.
Well, they're actually going to say what I said.
A double tight end set.
Yeah. A lot of, especially double set now that, you only got Tracy. It's not like you have Barkley. You would think, you would have like a 22 set up a lot, especially that second year.
Especially for a head coach that was a former tight ends coach.
Yeah.
Who set up that kind of set because of that. Just the whole thing is crazy. Absolute crazy guys. So like I said, at least Kafka's back. Hopefully play calls. Hopefully things are different and better. Probably not, but hopefully. Oh my gosh.
If you like that clip, then you will love the full episodes too. Find us on your favorite podcast app and look for us on all your favorite social media platforms.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please subscribe.